In all my years as a real estate agent and broker, I've seen hundreds of purchase agreements. It's safe to say by now, I've developed a keen eye for a good offer. Today, I want to share with you quickly how I skim a purchase agreements to get the main points and select the best offer in minutes. Of course, I'd start right off where you'd expect, the purchase price and the proposed closing date. Here I look to see how far off the buyer is from my asking price and how long my sellers will have to wait to close. Next, I move on to check if the offer is contingent on the sale of another property. I also want to check what type of financing the buyer is going to be using to secure the funds and whether or not an appraisal will be required. These can greatly impact the buyer and the ability to close on time. From there, I'll look to see whether or not the buyer is asking my seller to offer any closing cost support. Since this cash will come out of the proceed from the seller, I view it as a hit to the total purchase price and will typically negotiate that down as far as possible. Once I have a good feel for the timing and the price of the deal, I check the deposit amount, the inspection period duration, which tells me a lot about how motivated this buyer is. Next, I'll look at whether the buyer is looking to buy the property as is or with warranties. 90% of the time, it's being sold as is, so this isn't a huge concern. The last thing I check is the additional terms. Buyers will often throw additional contract language for items that they want to remain in the sale of the property. That's why I always check to make sure there isn't anything crazy or outside of the typical terms, such as a washer, dryer, or refrigerator. Today's real estate market has sellers all over the country in multiple offer or bidding war situations. I hope in this video you've learned how to skim an offer like a pro and get the best terms for your home.